So my experience began when my husband had a hockey accident and broke his collarbone in Cairns last year. And of course the first thing I did was go, we need to make sure the insurance people know about it. Picked up the phone and the insurance company basically said, you don't have any authority to talk to us about this policy, and wouldn't give me any information, wouldn't even record the fact that there was an incident. So for the next couple of weeks, I was trying to get a form so that I could get Dean to fill it in so that I could have authority to ask questions on it. We came back from Cairns and we had to have our regular catch up with Mark Rando and the team. And I happened to mention to them the hassles that I was having in just getting the form, let alone anything about the policy. And I promptly got in trouble by them because they said that is something that they look after for me. I suppose I didn't think that they would, because this was not a policy that Rando's set us up, and it was one that we had in place long before we actually started dealing with Rando and Associates. I was delighted when they basically said, leave it with us, we'll make some calls and go from there. The company who looked after the policy weren't going to pay out. They had a few issues with the way the policy was set up. They certainly were giving us and Rando a bit of the muck around. But to Mark's credit, he kept pursuing. He saw that, we were definitely entitled to the payment. Well, he certainly felt that we did, and it needed to be taken further. He wasn't prepared to rest with the answer that we got. Cut a long story short, probably 2-3 months after our initial contact, Mark rang me and said, we've got some fabulous news. We've actually got a payout for you, and it'll be in your bank account in 2 days. So if Rando Associates hadn't actually jumped in and helped us out, I don't know that we would have been able to reach the right people, made the right contacts, even put up the right case to get the payment. When Dean wasn't able to work during that time, there was lots of extra costs incurred in the business, not only just in other staff to cover his wages, but the time off and extra people having to drive him to appointments and other things that were required to help him get better. Knowing that we had an income protection policy that we could claim against, that was reassuring, and it took a little bit of pressure off us with those extra expenses that we knew were coming in. No, actually, even after the payout and after the hassles that we had, Mark encouraged us to keep that policy as it was. Whatever breakthrough he had a good breakthrough, and felt it was important for us to keep that policy as it is, but they're still managing it for us, which is really good. Mark appealed to Dean and I because he had a really laid-back, friendly, approachable nature. We've had experiences with a few other financial advisors and people in the same industry, and you walk into the suit and tie and this very uncomfortable feeling. Mark didn't have that. We felt like we were a regular person dealing with a regular person who had more knowledge in insurance, but we felt like we were dealing with someone who understood. Rando and Associates look at people as a whole. It's not about one individual policy, it's not about one individual investment, but it's you as a person, or you as a couple, or you as a family. And that's important to us to know that if something like this was to happen again, we could call him and everything would be looked after with one phone call.